And we're back. Welcome back to Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. Sorry about that technical issue yesterday. I did do a live for those of you who missed it on YouTube, so you guys can go back and watch it. I had a lot of fun chatting with a lot of you. We will make sure to do that more often. And just as a reminder, I will be gone, still working, but gone tomorrow, working on a very special project, and you guys are going to be really excited when we announce more information on that. So today, I want to talk first about these Epstein files that I know they completely and totally botched. The Trump administration, Pam Bondi specifically, completely and totally botched the release of these Epstein files. She teased it on Fox News. A lot of time on Fox News, by the way, Pam. And then nothing really happened. It fizzled out. And so now we hear that the DOJ has deployed as many as 1,000 FBI agents in this all-hands-on-deck effort to scour through what FBI whistleblower Kyle Seraphin describes as 14 terabytes of Epstein files. Now, I want to play a clip of Kyle over with Alex Jones I believe this was yesterday. And here was the bombshell that he dropped. Watch.
I've got friends that are working at headquarters. I got a couple of them at this point. They are friends of mine. It turns out when you become an FBI whistleblower, less and less people talk to you. They just don't want to get involved. But a few of them that are not scared, that are courageous and said they'd be happy to like both lose their job and shut this agency down if it had to be done. They've gone out and proactively told me, it's like, look, we've broken servers. We've had so many people accessing them to do this work. We've been working through the weekend.
You just showed me this.
Yeah, no, I'm literally showing you the people that we're talking about here. They've reached out to me and said, yeah, we have all hands on deck. I meant to go do something because he was going to go meet one of my friends, wasn't able to do so. And he's like, look, dude, I got stuff going on. I can't because we have all hands on deck meetings talking about Epstein files. We are doing the redactions. We are doing the things that were said. And then completely independent of that, I got another buddy who's much further to the west of Washington, D.C., and I'll just leave it nebulously at that, who reached out and said, I was looking for a printer. I was on my network, and they must be so actively trying to steel box this up, because when you start having too many people touch the exact same files on government computers, we had a joke, Alex, when you were working on FBI computer systems, we would always say that the motto of FBI IT is yesterday's technology tomorrow. They're just crap. They're just the worst computers you could ever have. And so apparently they crashed them all. And my guess is they started moving to more and more stable servers and accidentally opened up the permissions to people, including another buddy who had nothing to do with it. And he was like, oh yeah, I just saw there were like 14 terabytes of Epstein files.
That's a lot of terabytes. I think I want to welcome to the show Kyle Seraphin himself, the man, the myth, the legend, recovering FBI agent. Welcome. Yep, I love that so much. Just casually sipping from his Sara Gonzales Unfiltered coffee mug. Is it coffee in there, though?
It's actually Dandy Brew right now.
What is Dandy
Brew? It's a dandelion mixture.
Oh,
yeah,
you're fancy.
Well, I had coffee earlier, and if I do any coffee afternoon, it's over for me. So,
okay. All right. Well, that's fair enough. So,
as in, my night continues on when it should be sleep time.
Right, yeah. Of course. So, first of all, you were just in Austin? You were in Texas?
No, I'm in Texas. I'm outside Austin all the time.
You are?
It's like 45 minutes down the road. I just went and hung out with Alex and watched a madman in his lair, which is a real experience for anyone who's never done it.
Yeah, it really is. Well, I was going to say, like, I'm kind of jealous that you gave Alex the scoop and not me. Hello, I'm right here, like, 3 hours down the road. I didn't know that was a scoop.
Listen, first of all, that was some of my best material out there, because yesterday's technology tomorrow is a real thing inside the
really
FBI.
Funny.
It's true and real, and it's a thing that every person who works in the FBI says. So that's all regular. But also, I'm sitting there, and I don't even know if he was paying attention to what I was saying half the time. So he would hit on things that I was saying. And in the corner, he's like smoking a cigarette. Do you mind if I smoke? Do you mind if I smoke in here? I'm like, dude, it's your office. Do it when you want. So he's smoking a cigarette. He's like ordering coffee from his minions who are doing the work. Like InfoWars is wild, hands down. And those are true statements. 14 terabytes. That was the estimation my buddy gave me. So that's not insane. That doesn't seem crazy to me. But maybe it's because, one, I work with video files all the time, and you can burn through like all the terabytes. I have a 15 terabyte drive on my desk. It's not that much. I mean, it just turns out not to be that much. And then the other thing is, I've gotten FBI files when they've sent me a couple hundred pages of documents, and it took 5 CDs for them to do it, because they don't know how to do compression. They don't know how to do storage. They don't know how to organize file trees. So I don't know that 14 terabytes equals some wild, like, mind-blowing thing.
Okay.
A lot of files, especially if we're talking about someone, you saw the stuff they seized from his houses.
Yeah.
They had bins and bins and bins of CDs and DVDs and probably VHS tapes and digitizing all that stuff. I have to imagine it was done inefficiently because it was done by the FBI. Right. So that 14 terabytes, 15 terabytes, whatever the number looks like, essentially what my buddy did is he went looking for a printer. And he is, let's call just like west of the Mississippi. He went looking for a printer. And when you're in the bureau, it's very common for people in your squad to share what's called a shared drive. If anybody works in a Microsoft environment, they know this. You open up a shared drive and it's like, you have your local drives and then you have the S drive in the bureau is the shared drive for you and your squad. And you might keep like templates for writing arrest warrants, and you might have some subpoenas that are kind of like, fill in the blank and that kind of stuff. So you have all these things in the shared drive, and he went looking for the shared drive and a printer, and he ended up finding this thing that was the P drive, and the P drive just had a bunch of Epstein files in it. And he was like, yeah, there was, that many terabytes of data behind that. But what that means to us, who knows? Well, I mean, really, who knows?
Sure. But and I know that someone had made the statement on X that you were saying that this was new information. These were new files. And you made the statement that you don't think that they're new. But I mean, it does at least indicate that this is a priority, that they are going to do something with them. But what that something is remains to be seen. Do I have that right?
Agreed. Okay. I agreed with everything you said in the opening, too. I think Pam Bondi made a mistake. I called it an unforced error yesterday. I'll say that again to you. I think it was an unforced error to go out and talk about something that you didn't have in hand. That's never a great idea. That's a bad, overpromise, underdeliver moment. So she didn't need to do that. I wish she didn't, for her sake, because I want her to be successful. I really do. I want the entire Trump administration to do the good job. You can do the good job there. But does it mean that it's new? No, I imagine these files have been collected for a long time.
Right.
What I am hearing, though, is from folks that were in the headquarters unit that were actually assigned to go through and redact what they call PII. It's private information. I can't remember what the I is. It's something like that. But it's private information that they hold on to. So the private identifying information, probably. They don't want to do social security numbers, names, date of births, because that's what you gather when you do that. There's actually a standard way to do an interview and to get people's information into an FBI system. So the first time that I mentioned Sara Gonzales, I want your birthday, I want your driver's license number, I want identifiers so that I can say who you are uniquely, and then we can cross-reference you in case you pop up any other files, either as a victim or a subject. We know who you are, and so you'll have like a baseball card inside the FBI system.
Okay.
You don't want to give that information out for victims. We don't want to re-traumatize them. There's actually federal law that protects them, so you can't do that. So what I'm hearing is that they're basically going through these files, which are voluminous, and there's probably a ton of paper there, which you can get a lot of paper in 14 terabytes. You can get a little bit amount of video, not none, but some.
Sure.
And then you can get a weird mixture of whatever FBI is, FBI files, because they're probably not well stored. But they've got to go through all this junk, however well they were categorized, for every sub file that they have. Usually what you do is you'd either have an individual case for people that are part of a conspiracy or part of a larger group, or you might have what's called a sub file, and that could be other people. So if Blaze is the organization and that's the main file, then all the people working at Blaze might have a sub file kind of thing. So Epstein plus all associates would all have sub files. You got to go through all that stuff and redact all these names. You got to go make sure you've identified where that information is if they want to make it public, which it sounds like they might want to do that. And then you also have to be able to organize in such a way that if you're going to send out leads and you're actually going to start working this case, which I hope is what they're really going to do. I could care less if they send me any of the information or make it public. I don't care. I don't know about you. I just want to see people in prison that are bad.
Yes.
So
yeah, well, right, exactly. I mean, I would like to have some sort of public knowledge or public transparency if we're talking about, all of the conspiracy theories with Epstein being tied to, foreign governments and if it's like a honeypot. I mean, I feel like we probably should know that. However, I'm willing to push that aside if we do have arrests that are made. And that obviously is the key to all of this. So it sounds like
you'll actually see it. Yeah. You'll see it in the arrest when they do the press release about who they release. So there'll be a certain amount of information that will go into the affidavit when they make they decide to indict somebody and they come out and they say, okay, this person is alleged to have done the following things. They'll have proof hidden somewhere else. So that's what I'd like to see. And I think that's kind of what you're saying too. Yeah, give me the arrest. Give me the press release then. Don't tell me you've got files on your desk. That's kind of irrelevant. And, I think the American people would have been very understanding if that was the way that they approached this in the first place. They just said, look, we didn't realize how much stuff we're dealing with here. We're sealing some roadblocks. There's people inside of New York that don't want to give it up, even though they work for us. So we're going to have to get rid of some people, and we're going to have to find some insubordinate folks and get rid of them. Like, that would have been totally understandable. People would have gone, yeah, okay, it's government. We've been saying they're corrupt. If they didn't act corruptly, we would have been lying. Like, that's just kind of standard stuff. So
right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. So there are two things. You've just said what you would like to happen. You would like to see arrests happen. But do you think that they will happen is, I think, the more pertinent question. Because I agree with you. But I feel like if it doesn't happen now in this administration, it's never going to happen. And then I start going, but is it going to happen? Because I feel like this has been hidden for so long because there are so many dominoes that could fall with just one. And everyone's concerned about, the fallout and the ramifications. And then it gets hidden again. And so, we had President Trump the first time around and none of this got released. And so how confident are you in this FBI and this DOJ right now to follow through with all of this?
Not confident in general. I mean, I'm a pessimist. I look at past performance and I think that should probably predict our future action. That makes the most sense to me. At the same time, if you told me that Donald Trump was going to do all the things he's done in the last 60 days and kept everybody on their back feet with all the executive orders, they just declassified Crossfire Hurricane the other day. That seems really personal. Mm-hmm. I think that this thing, he did the JFK files. Those are coming out in swaths, and they're dumping them out onto the internet in major dumps. So, I wouldn't have bet those things were going to happen either. So I'm going to say cautiously optimistic would be the right answer, but I'm generally a pessimist. I also agree with your assessment. If we don't get it now, it will go into the back burner where you're going to have people making excuses for it for all eternity. Mm-hmm. There is a moment where people are hoping for transparency and we're hoping for accountability. And we've got two people that we've pushed into those spaces. And, I have no strong feelings about Pam Bondi one way or another. I just don't. I didn't work with her. I didn't live in Florida when she was there. So I'm hopeful she's successful. I do have strong feelings about Kash Patel. I want him to be successful. I got strong feelings about Dan Bongino. He said a lot of things over the last couple of years. I want him to hold to his word. I wouldn't want the job that he has. Not on my worst nightmare would I want to have wake up and find myself in that job. So if he does well, he's going to be a hero. I hope he does really great. And I hope they go out there and they find these people. I hope they either set up a task force or they push these things out the way they could. They could run it from headquarters. They could run it from Washington Field or New York. Doesn't matter. That they get a bunch of FBI agents to go ask questions, bang on doors, gather evidence, subpoena the records they need to, do the search warrants that need to be done, and put some handcuffs on some bad guys and show people that evil doesn't get to hang out in America. If you're going to make it great again, we probably shouldn't have pedophiles and child molesters and traffickers running around free and without any sort of consequence, because that's not the America that I want to live in. Yep. And, we have a unique moment. And that window is always going to get smaller, and it's probably right up to the midterms is where you're going to actually be able to get that movement forward. That doesn't mean that they're going to get those investigations done, by the way. But you've got to get forward momentum.
Yes.
You've got to get inertia on your side, because things that stay in motion tend to be in motion for much longer. And if people are static, they get comfortable and they get used to not doing stuff. So I'm not telling people things they haven't heard before. But we do need to see in the next few days, and it sounds like they're doing that. That's the upside. The people at the headquarters told me, if you're breaking servers, which probably isn't that hard to do for FBI servers because they're garbage technology, but at the end of the day, if you are actually trying to do the thing you said, that's more than most people have done in most of government for quite a while now. So I'm just saying I trust but verify, and my people that know things told me that the stuff that's being said out loud in public is also having a corresponding action in private that you wouldn't know about unless someone told you.
So you're a pessimist, but you sound cautiously optimistic. Don't tell me I'm wrong. Don't tell me I'm wrong, Kyle.
No, I'm always excited to be wrong about my pessimistic attitudes. And I'm always, again, if you had told me that we were going to have an election in November, I would have told you probably not. So I was excited to be wrong about that. No one was more excited than me because I didn't want to go to jail. And I thought maybe the Biden administration 2.0 would do that to me. So that was real. The fact that we have Donald Trump actually get sworn in, that was exciting too. Like that was a big deal for whatever it's worth. I watched two different people decide they wanted to kill the man. And so the fact that it didn't happen, awesome. He's in the office. That's great. I was worried that Kash Patel wasn't going to be confirmed. Yeah. I was worried about all the cabinet picks might be, people might go the other way. So they're all in. So I continue to be wrong, and it makes me very happy to be wrong in this case. No one is happier than me to be, inaccurate. It makes me sort of like a pessimist is never really let down. That's the upside of it.
Right.
If you're a pessimist, your expectations are pretty low. And I said if we got 30% of the things that Donald Trump promised during the campaign, we would be winning. And we're probably close to that right now. So I'm feeling pretty good about life. It makes me pretty happy. I'd like to see more, but now I'm just getting greedy. So, I'll try to temper myself where I can.
Yeah, no. But I have to ask you before you go, you mean to tell me, Kyle, if you were offered Dan Bongino's spot at the FBI, they came to you and they said, Kyle, we saw what you did. We appreciate what you did. It's just you. It's only you. We need you to serve. You would tell them no.
I would tell them I don't want to.
Okay, but you could be convinced.
Well, I told Owen Schroyer this the other day too, because he was like, someone asked you to come back. What's your answer?
Yeah.
The answer is real specific. It's like, if you think that I'm the only guy to do the job for some reason, which I don't know why you would think that, but if you do, and you ask me personally, and there's a mission that is achievable that I can go do, then yes. But I'm kind of like Rico from the movie Starship Troopers. Like, I would do that job until I'm dead, or you find someone better, and hopefully you find someone better soon so you can replace me with it. I had the same answer to every single leadership position I was ever in, including when I was in the FBI. I had a boss come and tell me, he's like, this is a major deal. Like, I'm going to make you a team leader. And I'm like, I don't want that. I don't want it.
Team leader.
It's more responsibility, and it's not good for my life, and it's going to be things. It's more of a burden on me, but I will do it because reluctant leadership, I think, is where you got to go.
Yep.
I actually heard Donald Trump say that about him stepping in and doing it again. He'd rather be on a beach somewhere or hanging out at a golf course, but he feels like the country needs him. And I appreciate a reluctant leader. I appreciate someone who gets tapped and says, I don't want to do it for my own sake, and I'm more than happy to quit this job if the reasons are wrong. But if you ask me and you think that I'm the guy and you need me, then I'm not going to turn away from the country. So, I have that little like sad, naive, patriotic streak that runs right down the middle of my heart as well.
Sure.
So yeah, of course, if somebody asked me specifically, but I do not wish that job on anybody. It's a really rough gig.
Yeah.
And he's going to be surrounded by ugly, evil liars that go right to his face and tell him one thing and then try to cut his throat and when he's not looking. So, Dan and I had kind of a public falling out. I still wish him well. I pray for his success. And I mean that very sincerely. And there's no ill will, because he's doing penance doing that job. No way. Like, there's like whatever sins he's got in his life, he is dealing with them at the Hoover Building every morning, whether people do it to his face or not.
Yeah.
That's an ugly place to be. And I've been in that building enough. It feels terrible. It's depressing.
It's the demonic energy that probably exists in that building.
For decades, it's just been stuck into the walls with cheap paint, like government contractors with bad attitude. Yeah, all of it is bad. It's just a negative energy vortex.
Yeah. No, I get it. I totally get it. Well, I appreciate your insight and all of your connections and speaking out about this, because I look at this whole case and it's like, there has to be justice for this. If no one's held accountable for like one of the most evil human trafficking schemes ever reported, how can we ever have full faith in our government? And it just feels like we're poised. Now's the time. People's eyes are wide open. We're getting transparency in so many other places. This has to come to fruition finally. So I appreciate your reporting on that. And hey, come to Dallas again soon, okay?
You tell me when. I'll drive up. My vehicle goes in all directions. It can go south. It can also go north. Yeah.
Is it an electric vehicle? Is it a Tesla?
Are you nuts? I have a diesel. I'm a Texan.
Okay, good.
Yeah, no.
I was going to say, I don't know if the charging stations are burned, so.
It's unsafe to be driving a Tesla. Although I have been flirting. If they continue to drop on the market and it gets cheaper, I would get one only as bait. Right. Is that weird? Because that sounds like my Super Bowl. Someone who wants to come and put their butt cheeks on my vehicle.
I know.
Money on.
No, I get it. Well, that's why we get along, because I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't want a Tesla, but now I kind of want a Tesla. So
I kind of want to headbutt somebody that wants to try to hurt my car. As long as I can buy it at like a steep discount, so I can use it as bait and not feel bad about it.
Right.
It has to done.
Right. Of course. Kyle Seraphin, of course. Make sure that you check him out at the Kyle Seraphin Show. I know you stream it on X, on Rumble. Where's the best place that they can find it?
Yeah, that's it. Or if they want to find it on Spotify after the fact, if it conflicts with something else they love, go find it on Spotify. It's free download there.
Perfect. Make sure that you check him out. Kyle, come back soon.
Do it.
All right. We'll see you.
All right. See you.
Thank you. So before we go, make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Hit the like button. Smash that like button or gently tap it. It's fine. We all appreciate a gentle tapping from time to time. And comment. It'll help us out in the algorithm, because remember, we make $0 from YouTube for going on 2 years. So want to thank our sponsor this segment, and then we'll bring in the panel, Relief Factor. So Relief Factor has worked personally for me. It's worked for Matt Marsden, who you're going to see in a moment. It's worked for so many people in this building. And really, it's there for those of you who, if you live in pain, maybe it's knee pain, neck pain, back pain, whatever the pain is, it's the inflammation typically that is causing your pain. You've got inflammation in your body. And if you get rid of the inflammation, poof, like magic, you solve the problem. So try Relief Factor. It's a very, very potent anti-inflammatory. They've got a 3-week quick start, and 70% of the people who use that, who order it, go on to keep ordering more. And that's how many people that it's working for. It can help you. And if it gets you out of pain, that could be life-changing. It's $19.95, and they've got a guarantee. So you've got nothing to lose except your pain. Go to relieffactor.com. That is relieffactor.com. All right. welcome to the show. We're already having a good time. Matthew Marsden, Blaze TV actor and producer extraordinaire. Is that good?
Yeah, I like it.
Extraordinaire. Hello.
Release the hounds. It's like the worst accent ever.
Jason Buttrill, guy who works here.
He'll do it as well. Go
Whatever.
on.
Go ahead. You do better.
I mean, it's like amazing. The amazing Marsden. That's better, right?
I like the amazing Marsden. I like that.
It doesn't sound like him.
You gotta start with, I don't know why, but,
No, I almost all the time when I answer his phone call when he's calling, I'm like, hello.
Every time. It's what you do. Hello there. Go blimey, chimney. Chimney. I'm like, all right, guys. All right. Yes, the British are coming.
Like, what do you call? It's not racist, but like it's
Totally racialist.
it's culturist.
It's whatever. I don't care.
So I'm glad that you guys are on today before I leave to go do a fun little project that I can share more information about soon. But I want to talk to you guys about this Signal chat, the drama with the Signal chat. Yes, the drama with the Signal chat. So
CIA up.
is that what you think?
Yep.
Me too.
Complete and total CIA up. I'll
Really?
explain.
Okay. So I'm sure everyone's heard about this, but it was like right before the Trump administration started dropping bombs in Yemen. They were accused by The Atlantic of leaking war plans, which sounds very, very serious. Okay. They said this was an accidental leak to Jeffrey Goldberg, who is, of course, like TDSer.
One of the
TDSer
biggest
galore.
opposition journalists to the administration, probably.
Right. Yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, oops. We just happen to have this anti-Trump guy in the chat. Oopsies.
This is like the biggest stroke of luck in the history of strikes of luck for an Oppo journalist ever. Like, wow, oh my God, like, it's a conundrum. We can't figure this out. It's
not like
amazing.
it's not like Fred from Idaho was like, hang on a second.
Holy crap.
What's going on here? I was just on my combine harvester, and it just so happened to be him.
This
is stupid.
Yeah. So I want to play Goldberg. He's trying to clarify how he got into this Signal chat with, he says this is Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, National Security Advisor Mike Walls, and Vice President JD Vance. And he's like, maybe it was a disinformation operation. I don't know. Here's some of that. Watch.
For a while in this process, I didn't believe that this was an actual national security chat. I assumed that I was being spoofed or hoaxed or being included in some kind of disinformation campaign, because it was simply too improbable to me that they would have such poor operational security as to inadvertently invite the editor of The Atlantic into a national security discussion about the timing of a bombing campaign. So I assumed that this was a spoof. Mm-hmm. It was only on Saturday the 15th of March when I received a text in this chain with forthcoming operational details of the Yemen strike, and then I waited a couple of hours to see if it actually happened, and it did. That's when I realized that, this is almost certainly a real chain of national security officials talking to each other on a commercial app.
So I want to, yes, I know the commercial app that Joe Biden was the one who said they could use in government, to be clear. So I know Jason's like chomping at the bit to say something. Jason, hold on. I just want to play really quickly. National Security Advisor Mike Walls, he went on Laura Ingram's show and was like trying to set the record straight here. And I want to play his response, and then I want to hear what you guys have to say. Watch.
We're going to get to the bottom of it. I just talked to Elon on the way here. We've got the best technical minds looking at how this happened. But I can tell you for 100%, I don't know this guy. I know him by his horrible reputation, and he really is the bottom scum of journalists. And I know him in the sense that he hates the president, but I don't text him. He wasn't on my phone, and we're going to figure out how this happened.
Jason?
So let me go back to Goldberg's statement really quick. Their initial reaction was, this is not legit, or we're being spoofed, or something like that. But the moment they saw the bombs started falling, all all other speculation just dropped. So they were running with it. This is real. They made a mistake. Let me tell you something. The worst thing conservatives can do on this is to admit that word, this was a mistake.
Yep.
That's bullshit.
Yep.
This was not a mistake. And again, this is my opinion. Maybe I'm a little jaded because we've been looking into the JFK files. I've been looking at what the CIA's been doing since the early 60s and it goes back even further. But no, this is total bullcrap. Absolute bullcrap. Waltz went on, I think it was NBC also, because speculation was running wild. And conservatives were trying to like rationalize this themselves, saying, oh yeah, this is bad, but maybe he clicked on the wrong name. Maybe he accidentally, it was just an accident, whatever. But he went on, like, I think it was NBC a couple days ago or yesterday, and said, look, this was a different number associated with a different contact. Then he said, we're looking into whether it was done deliberately or some other, quote, technical mean. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
That's like if I want to text you something and somehow it got changed in my phone to the plumber. And the plumber's like, why are you telling me you're going to be on my show on Wednesday? Who are you talking about? That somebody would have had to have done that.
Yeah.
Now I look at it and say, okay, well, who? Because Signal has an interesting history, funding history. Now, their funding goes back to, I think they were called like the Open Whisper something, but they got millions of dollars from a government organization. That government organization has ties, or it's underneath Radio Free Asia. Radio Free Asia, Radio Free Europe, those are CIA Cold War weapons from the Cold War. Direct ties and manipulation with the CIA. Now, if you ask them, they're like, oh, we stopped that crap. We don't mess with USAID either. You know, like, they're on their own. We don't do anything with that.
They're like,
bullshit.
We investigated ourselves and we found that we don't do that anymore.
Right, exactly. It's like the big food and pharma thing all over again.
Yeah.
I am not buying that whatsoever. WikiLeaks came out years ago and said that their Vault 7 release said that the NSA and the intelligence community, or no, it was the CIA, had direct access into both Signal and WhatsApp. They could penetrate it. Tucker Carlson says just a year or so ago that the NSA went into his Signal and pulled out the messages and then contacted him. So we know you're going to have this interview with Putin. He's like, I didn't tell anybody. It was just in Signal. Come on. Look at what CIA Director Ratcliffe said. He said the day he was sworn in, the very first thing that happened was that CIA technicians came in and loaded up Signal on every single one of his apps. Tulsi Gabbard, today in front of the House, said that that's just what happens. That I think going back from what you said, CISA under the Biden administration, they recommended personally using Signal, so now they're uploaded on every. Why would the government, whose sole intention, they love snooping on all of our communications? If you believe any of the Snowden stuff, looking into like tapping into internet LAN communications, all that stuff to read all of our mail. Why would they be like, yep, that's approved, it's all good? Unless they already have a backdoor into this app or some way to penetrate it or something. That's why they mandate it. That's why it's on every single app. And now the luckiest strike in the history of luck strikes happens to one of the biggest opposition journalists, where he's like, oh, I just got added in. I have no idea. The contact was changed. I don't know. It's just, wow, it's a big mistake by the Trump administration. Bullcrap.
Yeah.
Don't admit that. This is not a mistake. This is the deep state at work.
You already said bullshit like twice. You can just keep it with that.
Keep it rolling.
Yeah.
Good God.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know as much as you in this realm, but the first thing I read was like, I don't believe this was a mistake for a second. I believe that there's something way more to this. This wasn't just like an oopsie. And certainly I keep hearing people, well, who should resign? Well, should Mike Walls resign? Well, should Pete Hegseth resign?
That's why you get to the why.
I know.
It's for internal struggle. And look at the timeline. I didn't even mention the timeline. This story breaks the day before the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence happens.
Yes,
the day before.
Yes. It's all related, and that's why, right? That's the point. And so I got asked that by a very good friend of mine this morning. They texted me, and I'm like, absolutely not. Yeah. No one should resign. That's what they want. Of course that's what they're going to push for.
Today, there was a congressman, I can't remember who he asked. Maybe it was Tulsi. I can't remember. But they were actually talking about or asking the question if Pete Hegseth had appeared to be drinking when he sent some of the messages.
Oh my God.
That is what this is for.
Yep.
Wake up. It couldn't be more obvious.
Yep.
That's what this is for.
But you know what? When they were talking about this yesterday, if you notice, Trump was like, no, he knows exactly what's going on. All I'm waiting for now is like the Ayatollah of Iran to be sitting there and go, oh, I just got signal message. Let's look. Oh, they will be bombing at 10 o'clock. Oh, I was so surprised. It came to me. I don't know how this happened. I got Pete Hegseth. Oh, you drinking, Pete? Are you drinking again? I mean, come on.
Even his Farsi is better than your British accent.
I was actually thinking that. I was like, damn it, he's good at that accent.
But here's the point. I'm going to say to the people out there, do not bend the knee again. Over. It doesn't matter. You should just go, F you. It's not happening. I'm not doing anything. I'm not sacking it. And Trump did it. He goes, well, these mistakes happen. He knows what's going on. So we need to do this. We need to go, listen, I don't care. I don't care if it went on. You can't admit anything because what they're looking for is this. They're looking for this, and then they're going to be like, they need to be fired. They need to be fired, and they're going to keep on doing it. The only way that you got to fight this is just by saying, you know what? I'm not admitting anything. We don't know what's going on. End of story. I'm not having any more discussions about this. That's it. Because they're trying, as you know, the noose is getting tighter on all of these people. More of these things are going to happen as they start panicking and trying to get out of the impending Doge investigation, which we keep saying is going to uncover all this funding. To your point, where's the funding going? Who is pulling the strings in the deep state, right? The noose is tightening and they can't stop it right now. They tried to stop it. And I believe they're trying to delay it because of Elon only being in the government for a certain amount of time. But do not bend the knee. Just tell them to go away, in other words, and just carry on because it's all an op. Yeah. It's all an op.
I want to say that
last word real quick.
That's why the JFK files release was so important, because it establishes, even if it doesn't say definitively who the killer was, it establishes a pattern of behavior with the CIA. Mm-hmm. The parallels are so clear. JFK was in a war with the intelligence community. They tried to, well, they might have buried him. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But all the things that came out in those files that we covered on Glenn's show tonight, they were surveilling and infiltrating American media. Sounds familiar today, right? They were surveilling and infiltrating private American businesses like Pan Am. They were surveilling a presidential campaign, Barry Goldwater. We didn't talk about it. We didn't ask questions about it because they tried to hide it. They did it again to Trump in 2016. Yep. It's a pattern of behavior. Yep. What other companies and media outlets have they infiltrated now? I use that lens and all of this stuff and ask why. Does this make sense?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be back with more. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Patriot Mobile. So Glenn and Jenny Story, the founders of Patriot Mobile, are some of my very favorite people in the entire world because they truly are like some of the greatest patriots that I've ever met. They love this country. They love the Constitution. They love the founding principles of this country. And they are working really, really hard to help us, get more conservative, make sure that we have as many pro-life policies as we can, make sure that our Second Amendment rights are protected, make sure that we have conservatives on school boards. They have been instrumental in the fight. And all I'm asking you to do is go over to their website and go check them out. See if you can get on their phone service. They're America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. And it's like the same towers that everyone's using. So you're going to get the same nationwide coverage that you have now, but you know that instead of paying to Big Mobile, who is taking a portion of your money and funding the left, they're going to be funding the causes that you believe in if you're watching the show. And odds are they're going to save you money while they do it. So go check them out. They've got all sorts of customizable plans. PatriotMobile.com/Sarah. You can get a free month right now with PatriotMobile.com/Sarah. Everyone's favorite Congresswoman, Jasmine Crockett, has made quite the statement Monday night at a human rights campaign dinner. I want to stress, at a human rights campaign dinner, Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett decided that it would be a good idea to mock Texas Governor Greg Abbott's use of a wheelchair by calling him Governor Hot Wheels. Watch.
Because we in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. Yes.
Guys, this is, I mean, yes, it is an act because there are videos of her like speaking normally, not adding in Ebonics and speaking ghetto and talking like a hood rat. We have video of her just being completely normal, acting like she is a well-educated woman, a lawyer, right? Someone who cares about the presentation that she delivers. Not so long ago, she was just talking normally like this.
Absolutely. First of all, it's good to see you in the new year. You know, no one could have told me that when I went down to Austin, now it looks like a little bit over a year ago, that I would be running for Congress. It's just not what my plan was. But what I've always decided is that I would step up when there was a need.
So we know that it is an act. So you're right. It is an act. And it's so rich coming from the left you're not allowed to joke about anything. Comedy is dead. You can't make fun of anyone for their disability, for their race, for their, you can't lean into stereotypes because that's mean. And then you have Jasmine Crockett, who is in a position that used to be prestigious. It's not anymore. It used to be prestigious. I mean, you really had some self-respect when you were a congressperson not that long ago. And now you have Jasmine Crockett. And this isn't even, I mean, is this the most offensive thing that she said? I don't know, because there have been many times during hearings in Congress at the Capitol where she has just belittled the position that she holds. And it's so embarrassing. I have secondhand embarrassment watching that. Oh God, we from these hot ass streets. We had to govern Hot Wheels. Really? That's how little you think of your constituents? And by the way, if they vote her back in, I guess that's who they are too. I guess that's how they choose to be represented, which says a lot more about them than it does about her, I guess.
Well, this is part of the problem that we have with so many cameras everywhere. In one way, it's a good thing because they get exposed for the morons and mean-spirited people that they are, right? That's a good thing. But the bad thing is it becomes performance art, right? And we saw this with Hillary Clinton, remember, where she was like, I'm going to take my hot sauce. Yeah. And so there's a tendency to want to just keep pushing whatever extreme narrative you can do that's going to get you on the news. And it's the same thing with social media. It's the same thing with Instagram and just everything. Like, so for example, if you look at what I used to do for a living, or I do sometimes, is acting. Mm-hmm. Is that what you would look at is you want a really great story and you want to go and you want to act in that say it's a movie, you want to do the best job you can. Well, they just kept pushing the narratives because it was very lazy, right? Because it started with nudity, right? We're going to put sex and nudity in it and the sex, nudity, or violence, extreme, because then you can get the clicks, right? Because you can put it up on Instagram or on X and people go, oh, I'm going to look at that. And that's what these people are doing, right? They're going for the more extreme clicks because that's what they need to do to elevate themselves. They're not looking at the position. Like you said, you're looking like it's an honor to serve the country.
Right.
But it's not, not to her, because she's not, if that was...
She's not there to serve the country.
She's not there to serve the country.
Herself.
She's there to serve herself. And she's not even being reflective of the people that she represents.
That remains to be seen, I guess, because when she first ran for Congress, she sounded and acted and portrayed herself as the second clip that I just played. So I guess we'll see if her district is fine with her behaving in this manner. I personally would be very embarrassed. And by the way, Jason, I want to get your thoughts. Let me just read you her non-apology. Okay. She claims, I wasn't thinking about the governor's condition. I was thinking about the planes, trains, and automobiles he used to transfer migrants into communities led by black mayors, deliberately stoking tension and fear among the most vulnerable. Literally, the next line I said was that he was a hot ass mess, referencing his terrible policies. At no point did I mention or allude to his condition. Right. It's just that like Governor Hot Wheels is a thing that his enemies constantly call him because he's in a freaking wheelchair. That's not even believable. Like, just own it at this point. You said it. Just own it.
Yeah, by all means own it and continue to put people up like this.
Please.
What sucks about people like her is that the people that suffer the most are the ones directly in her district. This is damaging for them, which is a bad thing. But the good thing is it's damaging for the Democrat Party in totality as a whole. Who is even thinking about AOC and the squad anymore? Like hardly ever. I mean, I like seeing pictures of like.
Oh,
AOC,
here we go. Here we go.
Alex Stein is thinking about AOC a lot. I can tell you that.
But
so was Jason.
But yeah, but no one's even really thinking about their policies anymore, except for the people that every single county in the United States that radically went more red. That's what this is doing to the Democrat Party. People are running from them. This is not that year when squad members and massive progressives gained in the polls. It's just not. Mm-hmm. This is a new America. Mm-hmm. So if they want to do that, if they want to prop people up like her, fine.
Please.
Do it.
Please.
Because that type of inauthentic political personalities is over.
Yeah.
We saw that. You see that with Kamala Harris.
Yep.
She's a complete and total fraud, and the entire country knew it.
Right.
So you're not doing anything, but what sucks is, where's she at? Austin? Is that where she's at, or Houston?
No, it's the Dallas area.
It's a Dallas area?
Yes, it's here.
Okay, so people here in my own home city are going to suffer for it, which sucks.
I know.
You know what? Part of the thing is with this is if you are looking at the way that she is behaving now, if she would have done that 6 months ago, she would not have admitted, she wouldn't have come out with an apology. That's how far the country has changed.
Yeah.
It was already on its way, right? We could feel it, but something happened with that election that people were like, I'm done with this. To your point, I'm done. And she's felt it because they still think they're in that world. They're not in that world anymore. And as you said, the more that they come out and say things like this, the more that they're going to have to backtrack, which illustrates that they're frauds anyway. I mean, that was the most ridiculous. How is that even an apology? Like, where
I know
she says she doesn't say his policies.
Right. And she and of course she didn't like allude to any. I mean, I won't even give it like oxygen because it's like you would have alluded to like Governor Hot Wheels sending all of those, like you wouldn't just call him that and keep going. So it's very obvious. But, I don't know. I kind of waffle on whether or not I think that she is intelligent because you see people like her and Kamala Harris and Fani Willis all allegedly lawyers. And I'm like, are we just like passing law degrees out like candy? Because you would think that you'd have to be a little bit smarter in order to get to that point. But here we are.
I give a lot of people on the left credit for being smart because I think a lot of them are smart.
I think they're cunning.
Yeah, they're cunning.
Yeah.
They've been very crafty with the way that they've kept the 1960s alive and made their constituents feel like the 1960s are still our reality today for some weird reason. But I mean, I don't know. I just think they're very, very dumb. Well, right now they're very, very confused on what to do. Mm-hmm. I don't think they even know, which that's hilarious. She thought taking a jab like that would have played well, but they have members on their own side that are now probably eating her because saying, wait a minute, I thought we were all about people with disability. Right. We're the party that's
ableist.
We're the people that had Kamala Harris. Like, remember when she hilariously described that she was sitting at the table and told somebody that,
in a blue suit
was blind, that she was in a blue suit.
Yeah.
Wait a
minute.
I don't know.
Yeah. Which, by the way, things are really not going well for Jasmine. I want to play one more clip of her. This was one of Laura Loomer's reporters confronted Jasmine Crockett at the Capitol, asking her about her calls to kind of inciting violence, asking her to clarify, hey, maybe you can tell us that you didn't mean for people to commit terrorist acts against Elon Musk and Tesla. And instead of being like, you're right, I don't like violence, she did this. Watch.
Hello, Congresswoman. Horse manure.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Wait, Congresswoman Crockett. Congresswoman Crockett, you were recently on a Tesla takedown call calling for violence on the 29th. Would you like to clarify your comments?
As you can see.
Congresswoman, will you condone violence at the Tesla?
I remember when that happened to me with the Beto campaign. It seems they just recycle the same tactics. I'm just going to grab your phone and assault you instead of either answering your question or just ignoring you, because that's who they are. We'll see how that works out for her. All right, we got to take one more quick break here, and then we'll be back with more. But I want to thank our sponsor of this segment, First Liberty Institute. So First Liberty is there for those of you. You guys realize, like, we have the left trying to indoctrinate our kids at every single turn. And you've got all of these, once trusted professionals, teachers, psychologists, all of them, they're really no longer allies in raising our children. So I'm not here to tell you how to parent, but I do want to remind you of your God-given rights to direct your children's healthcare, direct your children's education, their spiritual development, and protect them from those who are trying to assault your children and their rights. And since the Constitution protects those God-given rights, I've partnered with the experts at First Liberty. They are America's largest law firm, exclusively protecting religious freedom and your first call when faith comes under attack. So if you're interested in learning more about your right to raise your children according to your beliefs without the left interfering, go to firstliberty.org/Sarah, where you can also learn what First Liberty is doing right now to protect the rights of parents for generations to come. They're doing great work over there. Just go check them out. Go check out what they're doing. firstliberty.org/Sarah. Before we go here, and as a reminder, I will be back Friday, so make sure not to miss it. Before we go here, I want to show this reporter. He took a picture of his hand after this assault. Look at that. Look at those claw marks. Look at the claw marks from Jasmine Crockett's fingernails, just all over his hand. And he did press charges, or he's trying to, at least. We'll see if the police cooperate with him. I'm like a very strange person, but I would love for that to happen to me. I would blow that up so big, and I would be like, I am pressing full charges for assault. I would just, because these people need to learn a lesson. It's something that I tell Alex Stein whenever we go out to these protests, and they harass him way more than they harass me. I guess because he's like a very big guy, and so they're not worried about hurting him. But I'm like, every single time they assault you, you should press charges. Every single freaking time. Sue or press charges, because these people need to learn to keep their hands to themselves. And they won't if we keep letting them get away. I mean, like, she scratched up his hand.
Should have fallen down like a soccer player.
Yeah, LeBron James. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Just to see what they do.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Can I see that picture again?
Yeah, throw the picture up real quick before we have to go, Steven. Please. Maybe not. There it is.
She was so scary. She scared the life out of him. Look, that's like a skeleton hand. It just sucked the life right out of him.
He probably does need to lift some weights if he wants to be getting assaulted.
He's got no fingers.
Oh, she chopped him off.
Like Wolverine.